Israel has issued a new evacuation order for southern Gaza. It's the biggest such order since Israel relaunched its offensive in the Palestinian territory earlier this month. We've been listening to Israeli army radio, which says evacuation orders now apply to about a fifth of Gaza. The health ministry there, which is run by Hamas, said more than 1,000 people have now been killed in the territory since Israel resumed its strikes. Here's our Middle East correspondent Yolande Nell explaining where people go when evacuation orders are issued.
Well, what happens usually is that the Israeli military, through its Arabic spokesman, puts out these notifications on social media. One came through this morning showing this big area of the southernmost part of Gaza along the border with Egypt, covering all of Rafah, parts of Khan Yunis, all of that in red. And people being told that they should flee to Al-Mawasi. This is a coastal area, sprawling tented camp area now, and we have been hearing from BBC journalists there that people have started to arrive. They rapidly packed up their belongings. People, tens of thousands of them, had gone back, particularly to the eastern part of Rafah, after the Israeli military withdrawal during the recent 2 months of ceasefire. A lot of Rafah had been left in ruins by the Israeli military offensive that began there last May, but people did find in the east some buildings to go back to. Now, Eid al-Fitr, it's the important Islamic holiday, of course, but people have not really been able to mark that. Instead, that they have been fleeing once again, heading off to this area in the coast, some also going to Khan Yunis, a bit further to the north.
And just briefly, Yolande, where are we at in terms of any new negotiations over another ceasefire?
Well, Israel has been insisting that it is continuing with these negotiations. Hamas was said on Saturday to have agreed to an Egyptian proposal, basically to release 5 living hostages in exchange, we understand, for a 50-day the ceasefire. However, Israel said to have put forward a counter-proposal with the backing of the US, demanding a larger number of hostages to be released. The big sticking point remains, of course, Hamas's demand that there should be a discussion about ending the war in Gaza, with Israel not showing real willingness to talk about that. Although the Israeli Prime Minister did say yesterday that ministers had voted to increase the military action, intensify it in Gaza, and he said that methods were working really to put pressure on Hamas to agree to a new hostage release deal and ceasefire.